Hey everybody, Victor here, and for today we have a nation guide for Zimbabwe. Now, because there are a couple of nations that can actually form Zimbabwe in the game, I'm going to be doing this as Butua. The reason why is Butua has better ideas by far than Mutapa, and you're probably going to be wanting to form it as Butua more than Mutapa. But you can follow along with the same basic strategy here, and you'll be fine if you want to do it as Mutapa instead. But with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the estates and privileges. Now, you can go ahead and grant whatever you largely want here, because the estates and privileges aren't going to matter that much overall. However, there's a couple of things I do want to say. First off, you probably will want to grant all of the monarch generators. The reason why is you start off on tech level 2 without feudalism, which means you're going to fall behind in tech if you don't do things to catch up, like grant all of these. So I strongly recommend you do so. Now, if you do, you will be below 5% crown land, no matter what you do. So you're going to have to dev at least once. That being said, if you get a mission that tells you to dev up Butua, your capital, take it. Doesn't matter what kind it is. The reason why is your starting capital is a gold mine, so you'll be dev pushing the Diplo here. However, you're not going to be able to get this to 10 without deving something else. So you might as well dev admin if you absolutely need to, just to get that up to 10. That being said, stockpile your admin for a bit, because you need to core all of Mutapa's land, who's your overlord, before you can do anything else. Next, you also need to grant this Embrace Singular Cult and embrace it for Mawari here. The reason why is though you do not start with it. Once you take out Mutapa and have everything cored, you will then be able to establish Rozwi. This empire allows you to take over their mission tree so that you can then form Zimbabwe if you want. Now, what matters here is that one of their first missions requires you to have this privilege with Mawari. So the other cults really don't benefit you. It's improved relations and tolerance of the true faith, which don't help you at all. So you might as well grant the discipline for no other reason than the fact the other ones kind of suck. So go ahead and grant that now so you don't forget to do it later. And then lastly, I do recommend you take the Indebted to the Merchant Guilds. This will help you build up a very potent military very quickly, and as far as the debt is concerned, it's really not going to matter, because you're going to be paying off all your debt pretty much after the first war. With that being said, your estates and privileges are done, so let's go ahead and move on to your military. Setting up your early military is pretty quick and easy because all you're doing is hiring both the Free Company and the Butua Warriors, the only two mercenaries that are available to you, in your starting provinces. Now, this will absolutely put you over your force limit, not just now, but when you declare. So you're gonna have a lot of negative income for a bit, but do not panic. Not only will you get plenty of money taking all of Mutapa's provinces, you will then have 3 gold mines, which means you will have plenty of income and you won't have to worry about income for about the next 100 years. So don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Now, that being said, the one thing you do have to worry about is that this general here attached to the Butua Warriors can either be really strong, like he is here, or he can suck really bad, like a 0-0-0 kind of general kind of suck. If that's what he happens to roll, you're going to have to hire a general on your own. The problem is that, well, your army tradition's pretty bad, so you can either get really, really lucky or not. You only have 70 military power to work with, so it's not exactly like you're going to be rolling a bunch of them. So you may want to use your ruler. Do check what your ruler is. The monarch points here are always the same. However, his starting trait rolls differently every time you start the game. So here, I got goods produced. That's amazing. That stacks with gold production. However, you can start off with Craven, which reduces your morale, which is really painful. Or you can even get a tech cost reduction guy, which is even stronger than goods produced because you need more monarch power than you do gold. So whatever you happen to roll, just be sure to check in here because you might want to make him a general even if he's not a good one, just to try and get him to die faster. That being said, it looks like I got somewhat lucky here, so that's the military setup. Time to move on. Now, while normally I do not talk about national ideas, I do recommend that you guys look up the difference between Butua and Mutapa's national ideas on your own. Basically, while Butua has all of the military ideas, Mutapa has a couple of economic ones that make their start a little bit easier. especially since you're not going to have to core all of Mutapa. However, it is up to you which one you play. However, I do want to point out that if you are going for the achievement of conquering all of Africa as a fetishist nation, you should be doing it as Butua. The reason why is, if you look at these ideas, they have a lot of military ideas and some economic ones that really matter that will make your life significantly easier. So I just wanted to point that out, so if you guys are going for those more grandiose achievements, do it as Butua. It makes it so much easier when you have the Space Marines running around, because we call Butua the Prussia of South Africa for a very good reason. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this all started. And it's now time to unpause the game. The reason why is because, well, there's no diplomacy for you. You start off as a subject nation, so you can't rival anybody, you can't ally anybody. The only thing you can do is find people to support your independence, and you don't want to be sharing any of the land. So there's nothing and no reason for you to get anybody to actually support you, even if you could. And just to say it, you really can't. Now that morale should be getting up at this point, it's time to start looking at attacking them. They can get allies, but usually it's not anybody that's going to be anywhere important, usually a 2-province minor. But most of the time that I've seen, they end up not getting anybody. Even if they do, hope that it's over here, because for them to actually help, they have to cross over this uncolonized area, which, yeah, they're probably going to get natives rising up and attacking their armies. So it's time to go ahead and declare my independence war, and yes, you're going to be taking a lot of stability hit. This is why you're pretty much going to want to have at least, if nothing else, the monarch power coming in for admin, because you're going to have to not only get your stability up, but all of this to be cored. So you're going to be behind in admin for a very long time without it. Now it's time to go ahead and move into them. Now you do have the morale of armies idea to start off with, but if you're feeling really worried about it, look in here and see if you have a morale guy. If you do, take out some more loans and hire him. But in this case, you really shouldn't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and just let these guys walk in. And looks like I didn't stack wipe, but that's okay. I'm going to just keep making sure I quickly get this taken care of. But I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to ramble otherwise. But you guys should be perfectly fine in taking these guys out because they really can't stay much against you. And if you do shatter their army, they usually run, again, into the wilderness where the natives are going to usually take care of them. So, with any luck, you should have no problems whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I need to win this, and I'll bring you guys right back. See you then. And welcome back, everybody. So after I beat Mutapa's army, it shattered and it ran to the north, where it really never came back. It's still alive somewhere, I just don't know where it went off to, and I really don't care. Chokwe did actually send its army to come and help, made it to this uncolonized province and got attacked by natives, lost and was shattered and ran to this province, where they were attacked by natives again, and were this time stack wiped, and since they had no army, Kasanje here attacked, took over this province, and then after they had pieced out, Lunda attacked and took the capital, meaning Chokwe is now gone because they picked a really bad ally. So now it's time to take out Mutapa. So I'm going to go ahead and get my independence, take all of their provinces, take as much money as I can fit into my pockets, and they're gone. Now, you're going to be coring all of this up, so go ahead and concentrate the development in these provinces. The reason why is none of these really matter that much. They're all ivory provinces, which is nice, but it will be a lot easier for you to core if it's all being concentrated into your capital state, especially since, well, it makes it easier for you to dev up your gold mine here, so you might as well do that. Now, before you actually core everything up, buy down your war exhaustion, core this up, and now you're going to be buying your stability for a bit. The reason why is while you do not need to embrace the Rozwi, you will need it in a mission for the Zimbabwe mission tree or the Rozwi/Mutapa mission tree, I'll put it that way. So go ahead, get your stability up, let yourself core everything up. Once you've cored it, you'll be able to become Rozwi, which will actually get rid of all of the separatism in these states. So you'll instantaneously become stable. So just get them cored as quickly as you possibly can because you will massively benefit from it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I got to just let this play out for a little bit. I'll bring you guys back when it's time to move on to phase 2. And again, as I said, you should be having a perfectly fine economy and pay off all of your loans. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. And I forgot to mention, this actually right here will get you an achievement. So all you have to do is go a couple of years into the game and you can get an achievement done. So let me go ahead and pause the recording. See you guys in a little bit. And welcome back. So all my half cores are done. So I've made them into states, but I haven't actually cored them all up yet. So I'm able to become Rozwi. Before you actually click this button though, go in here and click Wealth of Africa, because it'll give you a couple of bonuses in your government. Specifically, it'll give you production efficiency and yearly inflation reduction, which will help keep your economy stable for a bit. And then also grab this A Rising Lion. It'll give you morale of armies and national manpower for 25 years, and it does actually carry over, which is very, very nice. Now, as you can see, I click the button, and suddenly I should have all of my separatism go away in a monthly tick, meaning I will suddenly stop having all of these rebels. And there we go. Separatism is gone. Still have the negative stability, but not the separatism. So, just wanted to point that out. Keep boosting up your stability to get the unrest gone, and then start full coring everything. And of course, as you can see here, get claims down so you can get yourself into some expansion wars with the guys up here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I actually need to now go and fight these guys, and your economy should be perfectly fine because, again, you have 3 gold mines. So much so that you could probably even hire this extra mercenary company just to make it even more unbalanced in your favor. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So I just hit +1 stability, which means it's time to talk about the Fate of Zimbabwe mission. What this requires is you to have +1 stability and to own Zimbabwe as a province. Well, that basically means you take out Mutapa, form Rozwi, get your stability to +1, and you'll be able to get this done. And what this mission does is it does give you claims over all of the land I am conquering. The reason why you do not wait and instead you get a spy network down and you conquer them as quickly as you can is because Kilwa just saw you massively expand, which means they see you as a threat and can warn you. If they warn you, you will not be able to take people like Makua here, and they might. They can, and have before, rapidly tried to expand into this area. So do not allow them the opportunity, do not wait for this mission, just attack them. Just be sure not to actually core anything until you get this mission done to save you on admin power. That's one. The second thing it does is it causes a special mechanic that they released in Origins, and that is for constructing non-defensive buildings. So not forts and not the naval coastal defensive structures here. So trade buildings, army buildings, production buildings, tax buildings, those things. You will get development in these provinces. So simply by building a temple here, the development in this province will go up by 1. So when you are doing this, be sure that you're going to be building a lot of buildings for free development throughout your empire. So keep that in mind for the future. But now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and get the claims down so I can start actually coring all of my stuff. And I'm going to need to finish this war, take out these rebels, and then consolidate for a bit. So I'm not actually going to be doing anything else, and I don't recommend you do it either. However, do be prepared because you're going to be attacking Kilwa very, very soon. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So after taking care of the rebels and finishing that war, it is time to develop these 3 gold provinces up to 10 development, which I've already done because that allows you to complete this mission, the Legend of Ophir. What this mission does is it enables a brand new privilege that you can grant, specifically controlled gold mining. Now, whether or not you choose to grant this is a personal choice. However, let me go over basically what it does. In exchange for reducing all the gold income you earn by 15%, you instead will have 75% of the inflation that you earn from gold be completely eliminated. So instead of this 0.11 right now for my 7.5 ducats worth of gold, I'll only be getting about 0.3. Sorry, 0.03, just to be specific. On top of that, my gold depletion chance will go down by 75%. So this one right here of 8 development, that 0.4 per month chance will go down to 0.1, meaning I can go the entire game and never have a gold mine collapse. And this stacks with every province that you have that is gold, which means it's going to start paying itself off in a very long run kind of situation. The last thing it has, which you can't really tell here, but you can hover over, it'll increase all your power costs by 5%, which means this is something that you might want to grab to stabilize your economy for long term. But every time you're going to do massive things like dev push an institution or buy a bunch of techs, you need to make certain you revoke this privilege and then you can grant it again. Just be aware it does cost 5 crown land, so if you're going to be doing that and you're going to be cycling it so you can try and take advantage of the long-term economic benefits without taking the power cost involved, be sure that you keep that in mind because you might end up hurting yourself with crown land if you do it too often. I just wanted to point that out so you guys have that in your guys' repertoire, because it is a very strong privilege with actual penalties if you're not swapping it in and out. So let me go ahead and pause the recording while I get myself ready to deal with Kilwa. I'll see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So as you can see, I just declared on Kilwa, and there's a few things I needed to talk about before I did so, just to explain the setup on how you do this before you fight. And unfortunately, I messed up the recording, so I'm just going to talk about it now, as if I hadn't declared yet. So basically, you're going to have some missions here, specifically Iron and Cloth. This mission will be completed once you take over the north over here. But do not click it, even though it does give you infantry combat ability and yearly army tradition, which are very nice things to have. Don't click it yet. The reason why is it gives you a conquistador, and that conquistador has a limited lifespan, and you need him to fog bust South Africa. Now you might ask, well, why not do that and then attack Kilwa afterwards? Simple answer is South Africa is filled with these natives that really want to hurt you and will absolutely deplete your manpower, both of your mercenary stacks and your actual manpower, making it so you can't attack Kilwa for quite a long time. And while that might seem fine, you have a slight disadvantage in the fact that you do not start off with feudalism. They do, which means while you start at Tech 2, they start at Tech 3, and they're taking more. Which means the longer you wait, the harder this is going to be. So you need to attack them as soon as you realistically can. Hopefully they'll only be 2 techs ahead of you. And this is where the final setup before you attack Kilwa is going to be. Basically, they're going to have a lot of morale over you. At Tech 3 you get plus 0.5, and then at Tech 4 you get another 0.5. So they have one whole morale over your 2. 3 versus 2. The nice thing is that you can even that out a little bit. Specifically, you make it even out a little bit by having a morale advisor, by taking that mission from the earlier mission tree that gave you 10% morale of armies to give yourself 20% morale of armies, and then you have 10% here to make yourself with 30% morale of armies. While that will not make up the difference. Having 30% increase of your morale of armies will make your 2 into 2.6 versus their 3. And while that might not be enough, you outnumber them by about 13,000 with any luck, meaning you should be able to massively outflank them, if not anything else. So trust in sheer numbers, use a lot of mercenaries, go massively over your force limit like I am, because again, you have gold. Take advantage of that gold. Dev push this right here so you can afford this army stack. Merge them all together, link them all up, and chase down their army as quickly as you can. Because if their army survives, they can end up taking up again and becoming a real problem. Declare for something that you can realistically try and hold, like I'm trying to get Sofala down here. It does have a fort on it, but I'm going to try and get that once I take care of their army. And then just try and get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I need to fight this. And it is, while not difficult, it is stressful. Because again, they have the morale advantage, so it always looks like you're going to lose, even when you're going to win. So when you're doing this, be prepared to really freak out about numbers. You should be fine. You should win very easily, but it's always going to look like you're going to lose. So I will see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So the war is over. After a whole 4 battles, just 4, and I took a lot more casualties than they did in both attrition and in battle casualties, so much so I took 7.5 war exhaustion from this alone. I am now able to peace out, taking over this Sofala region here, or Quemalane, and then this state right here, and a little bit of money. Don't go beyond that. It's not really worth it. This is enough for you to be able to embrace feudalism without a whole lot of difficulty, getting you the ability to start teching up and getting your military to par. You can take the rest of them in the next war. They're really not that intimidating anymore, because they're only about, what, 5 provinces now? So you can deal with them later. Instead, take your mercenaries down and your rest of your troops south, get yourself coring this stuff up over here, and get ready to start fog busting everything in the south. But with that, you're now expanded enough where you don't have to worry about anything. Now, after you're done fog busting, you'll get to this mission here, which will give you a colonist for 100 years. Now, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to fog busting and getting this colonist to show you what you're going to be doing next, because basically until then, not a whole lot to do, except as you can see, once I click this mission here, which just requires you to take these 2 states, or sorry, provinces, you get some maps, allowing you to start conquering your way to the north. On top of those maps, you should be able to get cores once you construct a trade fleet, which just requires you to construct 20 light ships that'll give you a permanent claim on everything in the Horn of Africa region. So from here, thereabouts, to about here. So after you finish Kilwa, you'll be able to get these guys right here with normal claims and then start marching your way across the Ethiopian region without much really able to stop you, because you will be the massive 300-pound gorilla. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording because I need to get to the point where I can show you the colonist. See you guys in a second. Hey guys, so I wanted to mention something very briefly about actually having to explore South Africa, specifically that when you're going through and actually fog busting, the only army that's going to move into the fog is the army with the conquistador assigned. And while that might seem obvious, that also includes any attached mercenary companies. So if you're trying to do this with a 4,000 strong man army and have the free company be attached, only the one with the conquistador on it will move into the province, which means you need to do this either with a large enough normal manpower army or use one of the new mercenary companies you've unlocked by expanding as much as you have. Which you use is up to you, but just pick one and go with it. Now, as far as the natives in the area, it is up to you if you choose to end up attacking them to run them off. Be aware that by doing so, you're giving up this local goods produced, and that's pretty important because all of these provinces have a chance to spawn gold, including some fairly decent ones, and having just gold spawn here in Zahosa will give you 0.35 goods produced, which is pretty good, giving you a lot of money in the process. Be aware though, if you do not attack the natives here, it means that you're going to have to either leave an army to guard the colony as it grows, and given their aggressive levels, they're probably going to attack you multiple times. So it will be very expensive to actually colonize. Or, in the alternative, go peaceful, which will give you slower colonies, but at least then you won't have to actually guard them. So it's up to you what you choose to do, but go ahead and make your choice now so you don't have to go through here later and clear them out then. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording again because I need to continue fog busting to get the colonist, and I'll see you guys in just a second. And welcome back, everybody. So it's been a couple of years, and it is finally time to get that mission done to get that colonist. It does take a couple of years, and the reason why is because you have to restore Zimbabwe first, and that requires you to get to level 5 in both admin and diplotech, so you can actually build temples and a marketplace in Zimbabwe. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this mission in particular is because there's actually 2 things that you get as a reward that are worth understanding. The first is it'll upgrade your center of trade in your province of Zimbabwe by 1 level, and second, it actually upgrades the monument by 2 levels. However, here's the thing. As you can see, in this, it'll increase the level of the center of trade by 1. But if I go in here and manually increase it to go, instead of going from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, in other words, to get a bigger benefit out of it, and then I go back and look, you lose that increase in the center of trade. So do not upgrade this this center of trade before you do the mission, or you're wasting money. Second, as you can see, it also does the monument. Well, here's the thing. If you could actually upgrade the monument here and get it started, you can then click this button and it'll still upgrade it by 2 levels. On top of that, it keeps the upgrade time for level 1. Now, you don't actually have to do that with this monument. It's not a great one at level 3. You see, level 2 gives you 5% off your tech costs and 20% reduced cost to fabricate claims. The tech cost is amazing. The level 3, it's the same tech cost and even just a little bit less cost to fabricate claims. And, of course, more local defensiveness in the province, which doesn't matter. So, if you want to get your cost to fabricate claims even lower, great. Spend the 1,000 ducats, don't spend the 5,000 later. But if you don't care about that, do not touch the monument. It's not worth it, because the mission will take care of that. Now that we're done talking about Restore Zimbabwe, let's talk about Uncover the South, which gives you the colonist. This will give you a couple of things. First off, it gives you a colonist so long as you do not get a colonist by any other means. So if you do not have Parliament, which gives you a colonist there, or exploration ideas or expansion ideas, you get to keep this colonist for free for 100 years. So do not take exploration ideas and do not take expansion ideas as your first ideas, because then you will lose this free colonist and you'll have your normal one, which there's no reason to get rid of a free colonist to try and expand your colonization, because, well, you already have it. And it does give you that 400 colonists as a frontier in the Cape. And what that basically means is it will spawn right there, and this works like a Siberian frontier. It does not count as a colony, you do not pay any income on it, and you can still drop a colony somewhere else, and it will not cost as much as 2 of them, it'll just cost the normal cost of 1. Now, where do you drop this first colonist is kind of up to you. You see, the last mission here, which will let you form Zimbabwe, it requires you to control all of the provinces in these areas, which means you have to colonize this one, and you have to hit 400 development. So you can drop a colony here, but you're going to have to wait because you're less than half at this point of the development needed. What I recommend doing is your first colony be actually right here. The reason why is that this connects you both from your land over to the Congolese area, as well as up into the Rwanda area, allowing you to continue to expand your country without being limited to only one avenue of expansion and then having to invade one island, allowing you some very, very quick expansion because these guys are not united and can be taken out very, very quickly. So can the areas and people in the Rwanda area, and it gives you multiple people that you could attack one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the colonist here once I pick what I'm going with. I'm going to go with coexistence just because I don't want to deal with the natives. And that'll allow me to start spying and getting claims down. And I want to complete this one just so I have a permanent way where I can walk between without having to deal with anything else. So where you choose to drop the colony is a personal choice though. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself to the point where I am completing this mission, and then I am in contact with the Europeans. I'll show you Zimbabwe because it actually gives you an option to not form it immediately, but it turns it into a decision. And I'll show you all of it at one time. So I'll see you guys in quite a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I am no longer in Iron Man mode. The reason why is I realized it would take me at least 2.5 hours to finish this guide in an Iron Man mode game, whereas it would take me maybe 5 minutes in a non-Iron Man mode game. And I have a lot to do today. One, but more importantly, I'm not actually fighting anybody else for this guide. The rest of it is simply explaining how your mission tree works and showing you the Zimbabwe ideas so you can compare and make a decision on what you want to do in your own game. Because nothing is more annoying than clicking something and not realizing it's a trigger for another event that will do something you don't want and ruin your game or ruin your achievement run. There's nothing more annoying than that. So I wanted to make sure you guys had all the information. And I can do that in a non-Iron Man mode game, so I hope you don't begrudge me this. So, what do I want to show you? First off, all you need to do to hit that 400 development amount in order to form Zimbabwe is this. You don't need Madagascar, you just need to finish off Kilwa, take the north up here and take the Congo. And this also does not include any provinces that you had to dev push an institution in. So if you're dev pushing institutions, you can even take land off of that as well. So it's really not a whole lot of land. That being said, you are still going to have to take over this land if you're dev pushing institutions, which you absolutely should be doing. The reason why is these provinces up here, all these grasslands, is actually where you should dev push everything. There's nothing in your main homeland that you should want to develop. It's all really bad land, and outside of getting these gold mines high enough to give you a maximum amount of income, it's not really worth it to dev there. Down here, you have a couple of grassland provinces, but here's the thing. Whenever you're dev pushing institutions en masse, which you're going to have to do, you want to have all of those provinces right next to each other, because it spreads faster, institutions spread faster, between high development provinces. And you need to have more of your development have the institutions so you can embrace it. Where if you put one here and then put another institution here, what's basically going to happen is it's going to spread, and since you have so much development outside of what's already embraced that institution, it has to spread even further in this low development area before you can actually embrace it. And that takes longer with low development to spread. So you're wasting time, whereas if you took this and just developed both of them up here, it would jump from one province to the other in a matter of months, allowing you to quickly embrace it without having it spread anywhere else. So concentrate where you dev push. It will help you out so much. Now, sorry about that. Kids were yelling outside my window, which is just lovely. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the mission of contact with the Europeans. Now, in order to get this mission done, you have to have a Christian European, which means a Christian country in this area here. So it can be England, it can be an Irish minor, it can be Castile, it can be Spain, it can be, in my case, I chose Portugal. And when you click this mission, you'll have an event pop up. Now, what it basically does is it picks the country that you have either the 75 opinion with, that are your allies, that are your subjects, that are your overlords, or that guaranteed you. And it'll pick a random Muslim country. In this case, it picked Ajuran. And it takes the religion of both of those. So in this case, it would be Sunni with the Shafi school versus the Catholics. And you have a choice here between the two of them. Both of these result in the same event, and I'll explain what that event does in just a second. The other options you have are gain 5 mercantilism at the cost of 1 stability, get 2 years worth of trade income, but you make both of those countries mad, or you pick either to side with the Christians or the Muslims. Now, siding with either the Christians or the Muslims gives you a second event with a mean time to happen of 30 months. What this does is it allows you to one of 3 options. Either 1, just lose 20 stability, but nothing else happens. 2, you lose 3 stability, but your ruler becomes the religion of whatever country you picked. So if I pick Portugal, I'd become Catholic. If I pick Byzantium, I'd become Orthodox. If I pick Bohemia and they're Hussite, I become Hussite. Anglican, Protestant, whatever it happens to be. I can even do this fast enough before the Age of Reformation, become Christian by being Catholic, and then once the Reformation starts, create a Protestant center of Reformation down here in Africa, which is just funny to me. But basically, those are the 2 options, and then the third one is you gain 3 stability, but your current ruler dies. So if you have a 666 ruler and you are going for the fetishist achievement, where you have to conquer all of Africa, you need to make certain you do not pick either of these 2, because either you'll have to change your religion, which you don't want to do, or you'll have to lose your ruler, which you don't want to do, or just take a 20 legitimacy hit. And there's no reason to do that when you can get a benefit here. So just to be aware of how these events work, go ahead and use it to flip religion if you're not going for that achievement, because there's a lot of religions that are better than fetishist, such as in a multiplayer game, Anglican is going to be better for you, or Orthodox would be better for you, or really anything would be better for you. So just find one, and you don't have to make them actually want to give it to you. Just improve your relations with them so it's at least 75, and you will become their religion, which would really make a lot of people mad, because then suddenly if they're Defender of the Faith, they have to protect you. But that is how that event works. Lastly, let's talk about this. Eclipse Great Zimbabwe. Now, again, the Butuan ideas, which you can see on the starting screen, are pretty much military ideas with some economic, construction speed, etc. However, these are the ideas of Zimbabwe, and you can choose to not embrace their ideas and keep the Butuan ones, but I'll go ahead and show you what they are. And you do become the bright gold country out there, which I believe matches the same color as Genoa and Vijay and Shamar. Now, the ideas are pretty simple. You still have some military here, namely morale of armies, and that's about it. But you have goods produced, national tax, and even more monthly gold inflation modifier, so you get even less inflation. For a total, with you take this inflation reduction plus the estate inflation reduction of 95% gold inflation reduction, meaning you'll never have inflation. If you take economic ideas, you'll never have it, period. If you take just the advisor over here where they give you inflation reduction, you'll never have inflation at all. Whether you're taking loans or not, it'll decay so fast, you'll never really have any kind of inflation. Other than that, you got income from vassals, some basic things in here, but you can improve great projects a lot cheaper. Nothing fantastic, so it's not a great thing to do for ideas, but the color if you choose to go with it, and how you choose to roleplay if you want, but it is definitely worthwhile if you're going for just the economic side of things. So, depending on what kind of game you want to play, go ahead and have fun with it. But that's it for this guide, because I believe I've given you everything you need to know in order for you to take Butua and turn it into not only a world power, but the world power. And lastly, if you really want to, you can still become a horde. But if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'll absolutely be making more of it. And if you want to see a particular country or a mechanic covered, leave a comment below or join me on my Discord, because I'm always looking for more ideas. So let me know what you want to see, because I'll absolutely do it. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.